you just kind of have to know about this. The first wedding took place in Alabama, and it was my cousin Joe. And I guess I don't know what exactly happened for this to come about, but for some reason they thought it was a great idea, like the other cousins, to go ahead and grab Joe's ride for the wedding and basically vandalize it to an extent with the usual marriage things with the Tide cans on the back, but or like half Oreos on the windshield and whipped cream and other things all over the car. And so I guess Joe found the mastermind to it. Or maybe not the mastermind, but it was like a big thing with the four oldest cousins, and Joe was one of the four. And then later on, my cousin Luke gets married in West Virginia, and I think Joe is the orchestrator of that car vandalism. And they went so far. Let's see, they put packing peanuts all over the place inside the car, and I don't think it was Luke. You know what? I think Joe's car was vandalized with glitter in the vents or something like that. And then after that, they were like, "Yeah, we're not gonna be that mean. We're not gonna do that." So what Joe does for Luke's car is he puts mice traps. He sets mice traps on the seats underneath the packing peanuts.
Horrible.
Welcome to the party. Welcome to the party.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Long Distance Pizza Party podcast episode. I think I was wrong last week, Crad. Oh, Silly's here. As soon as I start speaking, good. I think it's 43. I think I misspoke. It's not the first time I've misspoke on what number we're on.
No,
never. Silly, hi.
Apparently, my mic is muted.
Well, we can hear you now.
actually,
There we go.
Wow, we actually have everybody.
That's weird.
well, I mean,
Power of hitting
strangers
record.
are. Oh wow, this is like a reunion almost.
I know.
It's weird.
I know.
I don't
But
believe myself.
good thing we're all here, because this is an episode I've been floating around. We're talking about wedding stories, because I had to go to do 2 weddings a month apart from each other. My poor mother. Wedding stories are fun, or they're horrible. There's never an in-between. There's always like, it's a nice story, but this happened. It's how I hear every wedding story from my family. Silly, since you haven't been on for a while, do you have a story off the top of your head?
I have multiple, but let me finish my burger first. Let someone else go.
Okay. So, there was one time. Well, first you check our socials at Pizza Party Pod first before you do that. I don't know if you guys ever had to do bachelor parties. For whatever reason, my brother Ben trusted Sam to do a bachelor party, which always goes wrong because he got kind of told last minute because there
wedding stories apparently.
Because there wasn't supposed to be a bachelor party, and then there was a bachelor party. So then my brother's like, "Hey, firearms is a great idea. Is to shoot firearms." So that's what we started doing at this. I wouldn't say rundown property, more of a property that. Excuse me. But the speaker, his house had burnt down. So we're at this burnt down property shooting guns, and all of a sudden, I look to my right, I'm lining up a shot, and I look to my right, I see a rabbit, and one of my brother's friends pulls out another gun and blows it away. Just blows up a rabbit, and we're just like, well, that just happened. Awkward. Kept going. The next day, we're doing breakfast, and Sam comes and he's like, "Why'd you tell Haley that we blew up a rabbit?" I was like, first off, I said nothing, because she loves animals. So you talk about any of that stuff. So she was super upset at Sam. So all day she was giving him the look. All day at the wedding of that, because apparently it was his fault. The rabbit got blown up.
Killed Bugs Bunny.
So that's what happens when you trust my brother to do a bachelor party last minute. And then we raided a Dairy Queen like 30 minutes to close.
It was somebody's pet. Somebody who owned the property was their pet rabbit, right?
I hope not. Horrible if it was. Also kind of funny.
Away.
Horrible that you insinuate that, Crad, that it was a pet rabbit. Makes it even worse.
I did not insinuate that. I insinuated it was Bugs Bunny.
No, Bugs Bunny would have grabbed the gun and flipped it back on him.
Yeah, there we go. When it's done a rabbit season, duck season. The speaker also, of course, every speaker says this, I only be 30 minutes, which if you were at any wedding, or any church activity, you know that's wrong. Because every pastor or speaker says it'll be 30 minutes, and it's never 30 minutes. I think it was the longest wedding I've been in. Maybe because it's in the wedding. It felt like forever. I told my mom mine will be 5 minutes. I'll pay the pastor extra. Doc's laughing because he's got something to say.
No, I'm good.
You don't want to say it? Okay.
I'm gonna bite my tongue.
I think everybody got the inclination on that one. We just don't want to share with it because
Okay.
we may have to censor this podcast for the first time in its history.
Okay.
Yeah, it wouldn't be my fault this time.
When's the last time I had to censor it? Oh, yeah, never mind. I did. What, Crad? You're there for it. You know what I'm talking about. Crad, do you have a story?
Actually, I got one at my own wedding.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. So, myself and my wife, we actually had two weddings because of some health problems of her father. We were afraid that he might not be able to walk her down the aisle and the time we originally were going to do it. And so we had a more intimate ceremony with just close family and friends. And so the wedding day comes, everything's coming together lovely. We get to the church we're having the wedding at, and just everything's going pretty well. We get to the actual wedding time, wedding ceremony, and we're standing up there, and my brother, who is performing the ceremony, is doing his part. And my now wife, at some point, looks over at me and whispers to me, "You're going to love this." And I thought to myself, what is she talking about? So we get to the point, we decide to write our own vows, which is sometimes people do. And so I go first, and I pull out my vows, and I go to pledging things to her and her family and my family, and I'm crying and all that good stuff, and just really emotional moment. Then it comes my wife's turn. She said, "Y'all, you ain't gonna believe this, but I left my vows back where I got dressed at." And so she had to have her mom, we had to pause the wedding for her mom to go back to the dressing room and get her vows so she could profess her love to me in public. So that was a good start to, which, by the way, is a very, very, she's like, you don't know my wife, but if you knew my wife, that is very in character with her. So I just finished pouring out my love to her and just being very emotional, crying and everything else. And she just goes, "Oh yeah, you're not gonna believe this. I left my vows in the back."
That's funny. That's hilarious.
So yes, that's what happened in mine. So that was a pretty good memory.
That's funny. Something that my brother, that Ben would do, thankfully he didn't, goodness, because I would have wringed his neck on the stage, which would also have been hilarious to watch. Just me running over and just strangling him in front of everyone that we know. Just reminded me. So this gets to show my dad being a jack of all trades. My dad, I love my dad. We're getting ready, and of course, you put a bunch of guys in a room. Usually my brother and Sam, when he got married, you put two of them in a room together, they start messing around. All of a sudden my dad runs into the room. He's already dressed. He's just trying to control everyone, make sure everyone's staying out of trouble. He's like, "Hey, does anyone have a spare pair of pants?" It gets better, Crad, it gets better. So for context, on the bridal side, one of the ladies was in the wedding. She didn't wear a traditional dress. She wore a suit. She is lesbian. She was in the wedding, which thankfully not a lot of people were giving her problems with, but apparently she ripped her pants. And my dad doesn't even have a spare pair. And we all look at each other, we're like, well, none of us are her size except for my brother, Isaac, our youngest brother. And for whatever reason, it must have been God that he had a spare pair of pants. So my dad's like, "I got it." Runs out, has like clips, and he gets it to work. So I don't want to know what happened. But the fact that my dad ran in and took care of it is kind of hilarious. We now make fun of it. It could have been worse. It could have been any one of us. I know Crad's, I don't know if he's stifling a laugh there or confusion. But it's like Gleason wedding, so anything could happen. I don't know what you're doing there, Crad. I can't with laughter.
I'm looking. I'm trying to compose myself because I keep looking at Strange, and he looks like he wants to laugh too. And so, yeah, there it is. There it is.
There we go.
There it is. No, I'm just trying to think of what the subtitle for this episode is going to be at this point, because
oh boy,
it's devolving from here.
It only goes downhill.
I've got another one actually. So A good friend of mine is getting married, and he has asked me to be a part of his wedding party, which is very nice of him to do so. And so we go and get our, you know, um, suits and all, well, really a suit is more than vest and bottoms, all good stuff fitted, and so it's coming down to the weekend or the week before the wedding, and I suffer a third-degree burn um, on my thigh, which was quite painful. Thank you, hot tea. Um, so I suffer a third-degree burn on my thigh, and I'm
There's other
supposed to
ways to
be.
get out of the wedding there, Crad.
Yeah, I know. And so I end up participating in this wedding with a third-degree burn, bandaged up under the under the thing. At one point, I had to rebandage. My wife had to help me rebandage this third-degree burn before this wedding starts, and so I'm limping around, like taking one for the team so I could be part of this wedding. It was quite funny. It was painful, but it was also funny because I was walking wounded, so to
That's
speak.
funny.
It's not quite as funny as, God coming to the rescue of a lesbian by using your little brother's pants, but it's all good. But
It was just the fact that my dad was that prepared. It just shows my dad and like to a T of like doing stuff like that. Strange, since you haven't been on. Do you have a story?
I have been to 6 weddings that I can recall. The first one was, so my parents split up when I was really young, and then my mom remarried, and I think I was the ring bearer at that wedding, but I was so small I don't even really honestly remember anything about that. I've had 2 weddings for girls that I was friends with, and I was just there as a guest. There wasn't really much that happened there. I had a wedding where it was my best friend from high school. We both went to the Army. I got out, and then he was stationed in Texas and got married and asked me to come be the best man. So I flew down with his parents, who lived in the same town as I did, and went down. There wasn't a whole lot of interesting stuff that happened, but one memory I have is we were waiting in one of the back rooms, getting prepared, all suited up and ready. And I don't know if he was nervous, if it was because he was nervous or whatnot, but this was kind of an older church. And we were standing there talking, and he lets out this huge, thankfully this wasn't in front of everybody. This was like me, him, his dad, and maybe one other guy. But we were just waiting there, and he lets out this huge fart. And I remember I looked, and in this room, it was like open to this hallway. And right after he farted, a cockroach ran out from underneath a piano that was sitting in the wall and just headed straight down the middle of that hallway.
That's horrible. That's funny, but it's horrible.
Yes, it was like the timing was perfect on that one.
It would be even funny if it was during the wedding. There's a cockroach just
yeah.
walks out and just freaks out the bride or something, or one of the guys. Horrible, but hilarious. Yeah, I feel really bad. So for my sister-in-law, for Sam's wife, she does not like being around people. She absolutely hates it. She gets like anxiety from it. And I felt so bad. I had to try not to make fun of her. Because anyone knows me and my family in certain social settings, we will just make fun of each other. And if you don't know us, you think we're horrible people. And because she is
Have
like,
to put that caveat.
yeah, she is like shaking on stage because she did not want to be in front of people. But we're like, well, you're getting married. You got to be in front of people. Sorry. But I felt so bad. And my brother, I could tell, is trying not to make fun of her on stage. He's trying to be nice. And he has that look in his face. And I just felt so bad. And thankfully, someone else said it before I could say it. Of course, it was Ben, my other brother, who doesn't have a filter. Said something and I heard a Swiss smack from behind me. Either my grandma or his wife corrected him quickly. Thankfully, both my brothers have found women that'll correct them because they both can be very stupid. But No, not my brothers. None of my brothers are stupid. Doc's got a comment. I can see it.
Saying a word.
Do you got any stories, Doc?
No, not really.
No?
No. It's like my sister's weddings went off pretty well, and then I hadn't really been involved in the craziness. I did have a buddy of mine when he got married. He had the groomsmen wear this um, tan jacket
Oh,
with the red tie and everything. And one of his groomsmen, and I swear he was wrong for this because his groomsmen had the goatee and the thing, and I swear it looked just like Colonel Sanders.
just tan Colonel Sanders.
Yes. And I was just like, man, you are wrong for that, making him dress up like that.
That's horrible. Thankfully,
Because
yeah,
he had like the goatee, the pointed goatee, and somewhat of a handlebar mustache.
that's horrible. Thankfully, my siblings, they only had us wear black suits. Well, Sam almost didn't have his suit for my brother's wedding. He calls my sister-in-law. He's like, "Hey, my suit's not ready yet." This is on the day of the wedding, or no, it was the day before. Because that, for whatever reason, I went up early with my mom and my sister-in-law to the other wedding. So I had to wander around a very small town for about 45 minutes to an hour and had to try and entertain myself for an hour. It was very frustrating, but I was like, of course, someone's going to forget their suit. And of course, it's Sam, the one we told to make sure I have everything ready. And so thankfully, my dad had to do some finagling and got him a suit. I don't know where, but that's my brother. He constantly forgets stuff. He was over here today looking for something he forgot, but then forgot what it was. So that's my brother. Um,
All right, silly. You got anything?
yeah,
It looks like the burger's gone now.
you're muted.
Oh,
Can't hear you, silly.
There we go.
All right.
I thought you said you could hear me.
We
earlier.
could,
We
and then
could.
you must have
Could
muted at some
earlier.
point.
I must have did something.
you
That was weird.
you probably thought you muted yourself while you were eating, and so we heard all
I
the
did.
crunching.
No,
No,
you didn't, because we heard it all.
and then you
Yeah, so I got
you-
this fancy
Ooh,
tap thing.
there we go.
So, oh well, that was goofy. I tapped mute on my microphone, thinking, "Oh, I'm doing everyone a service. So I could continue to eat here."
It's okay, silly. I did a whole video muted, not knowing I was muted the other day, so it's okay.
Oh, how
I've
depressing.
done that before.
Okay, so it all starts with my well, there are a bunch of things. There's like 3 weddings that involved my cousins that are crazy. So the first wedding, you just kind of have to know about this. The first wedding was took place in Alabama, and it was my cousin Joe, and I guess I don't know what exactly happened for this to come about, but for some reason they thought it was a great idea, like the other cousins, to go ahead and grab Joe's ride for the wedding and basically vandalize it to an extent with the usual marriage things with the Tide cans on the back, but or like half Oreos on the windshield and whipped cream and other things all over the car. And so I guess Joe found the mastermind to it. Or maybe not the mastermind, but it was like a big thing with like the 4 oldest cousins, and Joe was one of the 4. And then later on, my cousin Luke gets married in West Virginia, and I think Joe is the orchestrator of that car vandalism. And they went so far. Let's see, they put packing peanuts all over the place inside the car, and I don't think it was Luke. You know what? I think Joe's car was vandalized with glitter in the vents or something like that. And then after that, they were like, "Yeah, we're not gonna be that mean. We're not gonna do that." So what Joe does for Luke's car is he puts mice traps. He sets mice traps on the seats underneath
Horrible.
the packing peanuts.
It's horrible. See, we couldn't do that. We got told not to because if we touched my sister-in-law's car, she would have killed us. She has a very nice car, and she did not want it getting touched.
Yeah, no, then that had to be put a stop to it and stuff like that. Well, the next wedding I end up going to is my cousin Paul's, and he's Joe's brother. The fourth, the fourth brother out of 8 siblings. And Paul gets married, and all of us kids around, he's my age, so we have a handful of cousins that are his age, or our age, I suppose. And so all of us go out and we get like supplies and stuff for like the bachelor party, which is the most Christian bachelor party. I think we watched Legion that night, that horror apocalyptic thingamajigger thing that with Michael the Archangel and whatnot, and played Halo and stuff, and gorged ourselves on sugar and candies and energy drinks,
As you do.
yeah, as you do. And John and who's the next brother, the fifth brother of Paul and Joe's, he and their cousin, trying to think, I'm thinking about names. It doesn't need to be correct, obviously, but their cousin Brian go off and run to the toy section, and so we grab these supplies or whatnot. Wedding day comes, and us cousins, while Paul and is inside with his wife, and the rest of the reception and everything, just hang out inside. The cousins come out, we grab our supplies and stuff like that. We start doing the whole decorating of the car and everything like that. And Brian and John pull out the thing that they bought the night before, and some twine, and they affix it to the steering wheel of the car. And this thing is a automatic sensor moving crying baby that they affix to the steering wheel of the car, crucifix style.
Oh my god!
It's just in there. Oh man,
That's horrible.
Yeah, no mouse traps though. We didn't do any physical damage or anything like that. But
Awesome.
yeah,
Awesome. It's like
Y'all need Jesus.
that's like so. That reminds me. So my dad, I love my dad. So this is what I've heard secondhand from his own wedding. Apparently, he went paintballing with some friends. Because apparently, that's what my dad used to do is paintball. And they decided, hey, we're gonna go shoot your wife with them, her car. My mother's white or red. She says red sports car with yellow paintballs.
I'll go over well.
Yeah, what they didn't know is that she was going to be using it. So she tells us every time at the wedding she had this big welt on her thigh from a paintball, and she's like, she named certain friends, and he's like, I didn't know anything about that. I wasn't there. He was there. I don't think my dad was one shooting them, but when you get a group of guys, that kind of happens. I don't know why they thought that was a good idea. Unfortunately, I think she ended up selling that vehicle. I don't know if it was still covered in the paintballs. Be funny if it was, but that's my dad in his younger days apparently was doing stuff like that. I think that story was told again to my brothers to not do to their wives' cars. Especially my one sister-in-law. She has a nice white vehicle. She said no one can touch it. That didn't stop her friends. Her friends did something to it. I had no part in that, but
So I was not the one who got in trouble.
correct.
You were over by the bench.
Yeah. I was more likely corralling my youngest brother because he was messing around. He was harassing people. I had to make sure he wasn't making a fool of himself more than usual. That's my brothers. Yeah, I almost was late to one of my brother's weddings. I'm going to the wrong church on accident. To help set up.
You're in a small town. How do you make it to the wrong church?
You'd be surprised how many churches are here. In fact, they said it's on the street. They didn't tell me what the name of the church was. So I instantly started making like the route I take to get to my church, and I'm like, I'm going the wrong way. Turn around. It's a church I've never really go to. It's on like a side street, and I'm never down. So
I avoid strange church buildings, so I don't see myself ever making a mistake like that.
well, we had to find a place for her dad. Her dad has some medical issues. He has a walker, so we had to find somewhere that was accessible for him.
Uh-huh.
Which was funny because we're at the reception and some kids were playing with his walker, walking around with it. So I look over at one point, I see he does not have the walker. Some random kids having it. I was like, that sounds like a them problem. I'm not getting myself involved. I'm just gonna walk over here. We also had to so at the same wedding. So my grandma got ordained to do the wedding, which was contention in the family. My other brother did not want to go because my grandma was ordained. He doesn't believe women pastors. It's a whole thing that we have conversations about. She almost forgot to tell us.
Explain marriages in church, right?
I did. We use a lot of examples.
I mean,
listen. Oh, I know. My grandma almost forgot to tell us not to sit down. So we're in like partial sort of the ceremony.
This is why you don't have a woman pastor. Anyway.
Yes, exactly. Here's why. She then like clicks in her head. He's like, "Oh, I should have people sit down." I was like trying to motion to her. I kept going like this. I'm in the front seat. I kept going like this to have everyone sit down. It finally clicked with her. I love my grandma, but she was so, I guess, overwrought with joy.
Oh yeah, rest your legs, you ninnies.
Yeah. I love my grandma. So if you hear this, I love you, Grandma. I'm sure I'll be getting texts about this episode from certain things. Like, why'd you tell the story that way? That's not what happened. You said something earlier. I was at I love my brother, but I don't know why he decided that we should get ready at my sister-in-law's mother's house for whatever reason. Not in the church, but at someone else's house. And at one point, we knew she was in the house and left. And of course, you get like 20 guys and they're messing around. At one point, I look over my shoulder and one of the guys was just in his shirt and boxers running around and didn't know that she was still in the house. So we're all like, put your clothes on. And he's like, why? He's like, 'cause her mom's still in the house. He's like, oh, I think it was her brother. I think it was my sister-in-law's brother that was doing it, which makes it even weirder. I think it'd be a little too comfortable. Yeah, that was... I don't like any of them. I shouldn't say this. I don't dislike my brother's friends. They're just very rowdy. And you throw like 20 of us in a room.
You know why? Because they're combo.
We were watching the Lego Batman movie. That was our secondary bachelor party.
All I feel is rage.
That's all my wedding stories I have, because I only go to like 2 weddings. I haven't been in my own wedding, so I can't tell anything on myself. At least not yet. I had so many people going like, you're next. I'm like, this is getting annoying. Gotta get a girlfriend first. I gotta get a girlfriend first. I was like, exactly. I was like, very weird for you to be saying this.
Am I a mushroom? Do I marry myself?
Exactly. No, I could even marry AA chatbot. Did you hear about that?
Oh, that nonsense. Yeah, my goodness gracious.
Oh my gosh, it was so stupid.
The things that start in Japan that mosey on over to the West, you know?
I know. Oh, of course, being in a wedding, and I got paired with the married woman to go down the aisle with at my brother's wedding and the groom's party. And well, yes, because the pastor going, no, you got to have her walk up the stage this way. You're gonna help her up, and she was very uncomfortable. And I was like, whatever makes you more comfortable, you do it your way. Whatever, I don't care. Whatever gets us off the stage quicker. And at one point, we had to go back up for photos. Whoever did this did the dumbest way possible. The next thing I know, we're going up. I feel someone from behind me grab my shoulder and yank me back. It's like, you're not supposed to be here. I was like, what do you mean? I'm in the wedding. Like, you saw me walk up for the wedding. She thought I was the other brother. of my three brothers, and like just in the back of the aisle. And I was like, no, I belong here. I'm Nathan. I belong on this part.
You're like, lady, we
Wait,
linked
no,
arms for
what?
half a second.
I
Well,
belong.
this
dang
wasn't
it.
the groom's. No, this wasn't the one of the bridesmaids. This is the lady coordinating it all,
Yeah. Okay.
which would be even funnier. Yeah, those wedding photos took forever. None of us liked those wedding photos. We were doing wedding photos for like 2 hours. I don't know if that's common, but my brother, I don't want to know how much he spent on wedding photos, because it felt like forever doing wedding photos.
Cheap.
You said they're cheap or not cheap?
They're not cheap.
Oh, I was gonna say there's no way.
Usually.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Especially the rigs they had. They had like the full like rig, like the hand rigs and everything. I was like,
Oh, yeah.
they're vlogging it all too.
Well,
So I don't know how much.
Get the social money.
I haven't even seen any of these photos. I'm concerned that I haven't seen any of them.
Oh, you'll see him in about 3 years.
Yeah, I might see him 4th of July. We're all coming over, so there may be a slideshow.
You think he'll be ready by then? That's funny.
Actually, I don't think my brother's going to 4th of July, but I think that there's a reason why I think he's hiding. But yeah, my two siblings each express their personalities. Sam's wedding very small, very cheap. Ben's wedding very long, very expensive. The reception was in a mansion, if that says anything. Yeah, it was. One of my dad's friends apparently was wandering around the mansion, which was getting refurbished, and was like opening windows during the ceremony. So you just look up and you could just see someone peeking their head out the window, which was hilarious.
You smell of elderberries.
It was very entertaining. They see him just goofing off like that. It's like an older man just acting like a 10-year-old. It was entertaining. Why I couldn't do any of it. I was forced to sit in front of a bunch of people. But even that, they're like, "Oh, sit here for the reception," and then they're like, "Oh no, you come back out after I have like a plate full of like appetizers." And I was like, "Why you have me go back out?" Whatever. It was, I don't know.
My food's coming with me, you know.
Yes, I will be having my plate of cheese with me.
You know, the bride and the groom are going to be, scouring Facebook for the Photoshop groups and be like, "Could you get this moron who's got a half stick of cheese in his mouth?
Yeah.
And Photoshop him out or something."
Yeah. Or they'd ask me, the person that knows slightly how to edit photos, or the lady that did any of the photo editing. I also got a reference. I never got called by name. They go going, "Oh, you're that brother," which I'm like, "What did
What do you
you
mean,
tell?"
that brother?
I
I'm
was like,
the brother, man.
That was I had that happen today. I was at Dunkin', and one of my brother's friends apparently works there. And she goes, "You're one of Ben's brothers, right?" I was like, "Yeah." Apparently, we also went to school together, so I don't know why she didn't recognize me by name, which is even weirder. But she was in Ben's class, so I didn't really pay attention to any of them. Unfortunately, none of them I can't not say legally. Nothing too stupid happened. Yet I still have Isaac's wedding, and then of course mine. But I don't see my little brother getting married anytime soon, or me getting married anytime soon. Sorry for anyone that keeps asking me that. I feel like I got asked that like 100 times.
To do what?
To get married, or when I'm getting married.
Oh, it'll keep happening and keep happening.
Oh, I know.
Keep happening.
I know.
Until they just give up on you.
Yep.
And then when you finally do find somebody, go to the marriage thing, you get to sit there and say, "See, everybody, this is the fruit of my labor of telling y'all no for so long."
Exactly. Weddings are fun. I just feel like there's a lot of stuff that is unnecessary wedding, but also I don't know if that's just me not wanting to do all the extra crap. But I, of course, have no say in that.
Well, that's what you got to
remember.
The number one problem about weddings is that
There's another half there, silly. Yeah, I get overridden.
But that's one of the things about weddings is that everyone focuses on the actual day, and then the actual execution of the marriage is non-existent.
Yeah. At one point, one of my siblings was joking we should go and play poker because my sister-in-law lives in Illinois, which there's a lot of gambling. especially where she lived. I feel like it was all there was gambling. And this is coming from like the Baptist group, which was interesting. I was like you're all Baptist, like I expect this maybe from like the Pentecostals, but
Hey, the Baptists
We either
still
drink
do
or we
all.
gamble. We never do both at the same time.
Well, it's like the old joke. What do you do? What's the difference between going fishing with the Methodist and fishing with the Baptist?
I don't know what is the difference there, Doc.
Well, with the Methodists, they'll bring their own cooler. The Baptists will drink yours.
It's horrible. My brother would disagree with that one. I know.
I am Baptist. So
I know you
hate to
are,
say
but
that.
he would disagree. He would disagree with it too. Nothing else really. Well, except for my grandpa backing into someone's car. But that's really about it. No alcohol involved.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah,
Those are the best stories.
I know. People were
It
Do
surprised.
is.
Like,
stupid things sober so you
Yeah.
can remember it.
people were surprised. Like, there's no alcohol. I'm like, yeah, it's a Baptist wedding. A drop shows up and everyone freaks out. They didn't even offer us any drinks at the wedding. There was water, and I could see like tea and lemonade. The lady kept pushing, trying to give us like pitchers of water. I had to go like fight for cups to get like tea or lemonade. Which I know it's like a weird thing to say, but when you're stuck at a table and there was no real way to get in or out of the bridal party area, I don't think I even sat at the area. I just didn't want to. I ended up walking around. Of course, no one recognized me because I recently shaved my head, so everyone was like looking at me, trying to like do a double take. It was interesting.
Guy over there.
Yeah. One of my friends
I
goes,
can see my face in his.
"Oh, one of my buddies was like, it's Walter White." I'm like, "Don't be saying this at a Baptist wedding."
When I saw the pictures, I thought Bobby Hill. Okay.
Like who?
When I saw your shaved head, I thought Bobby Hill.
Hey, I'll replace him in the reboot. Well, that's a good transition point. Is there any like in fiction? I don't know if this is a weird question, but like in fiction, like weird like wedding stuff that you guys like, or I guess like I don't know. I thought I had a transition. I don't think it's working. Thanks, Doc, for the confidence.
Just trying to think what wedding stuff in fiction. I mean, the big thing for fiction thing is marriage.
Oh my goodness, my brother started doing
Marriage is
that.
what brings us together today.
today.
My brother started doing that, and then I'm like, I think he's whispering it on the stage, which was not helping anyone. Because of course the speaker had zero context for what that is,
I do, man,
which is even better. It's funny.
Surrender. Oh, you wish to surrender to me? Gladly, I accept.
Yeah, I can't think of any other stories.
Oh, for storied out.
I think I got one more. So I talked about weddings I attended, but not my own. My first wedding, there wasn't a whole lot that went on. It was a bigger wedding. I actually wore a white tux.
Oh no.
A lot of friends and family and all that. For my second wedding, we went a lot smaller, and it was very intimate, very just close friends, family. But we had the wedding, we had it planned. I was very kind of secretive about dates and stuff like that with the whole church, because my first wedding, we pretty much invited the whole church. And with the second wedding, I wanted to keep it small. We wanted to keep it small. She wanted that too. And so I was trying to not have the entire church show up. And
But you know, family.
yeah.
Unfortunately.
Which, for the most part, it was successful. I will say, so we were all together, and then the wedding went really well. No hiccups or anything. It was really short. And then we went into the reception, and about halfway through, there was this guy that walked in from my church, and he started talking to people, and he talked to my now brother-in-law, and he's a little bit into conspiracy theory stuff, and he has all these stories and all this other stuff. And then my brother-in-law comes up and he's like, "Oh yeah, I've been talking to this guy, and he says, he wouldn't miss your wedding for the world and all this other stuff." And it's like, "You invited him, right?" I'm like, "Yeah, no, I don't even remember that guy's name. I don't know how he found out about
Security.
this."
That's awesome.
But he wasn't the one I was worried about showing up, so it was fine.
There you go. That's funny. That is hilarious. That's you can't. Unfortunately, you can't stop that stuff.
Yeah.
But it's like it is funny when it happens. Was really funny. From Sam's wedding, we went to Olive Garden for after the recital. I guess it's not even the recital. That's the wrong word. My dad kept making fun because I kept saying recital because I couldn't think of the actual word. The rehearsal. Thank you. I kept hearing, "Oh, Dad's paying for it. Dad's paying for it." My dad is very frugal, so thankfully, where I was sitting, I could see my dad writing the check. I don't want to know how much it costs for, like, let's say 30 plus people at Olive Garden. It was just entertaining. My mom
if it's
making fun of him.
$50 for 3.5, no, 2.5.
On a very select menu that they gave us, and then of course my dad told people, if you want extra stuff, you're paying for it. And I think a couple people got mad because I think they were expecting my dad to pay for it all. But also, I'm like, that's funny. You know my dad. He's not going to let you do that, which I found entertaining by people. People also kept like looking at my aunt, at my dad's sister, who was sitting at my table, because they couldn't believe that we were related, because my aunt does bodybuilding. So she kind of stood out a little bit. She's not like huge, but like she's like noticeable enough, so it was kind of entertaining. Yeah, we Gleasons are all very eclectic. Thankfully, my grandpa, who was also there, he's known for like cursing like a sailor, and does not go to church. So thankfully, he wasn't, getting too angry and using certain expletives in church. It would have been entertaining. We would have loved it. But we would have. I don't know if other people there would have loved it. But that's like the entertaining stuff when you have like that stuff happen for people that aren't very initiated into church, and then you kind of throw them in that scenario. Fumble.
Oops.
Did Toothless just take a dive?
No, he's over here.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Wedding stuff's fun. I don't want to do anymore. I told my brother I don't want to do any more weddings for the foreseeable future. Mainly because of him, because of how long it was. I don't know. I always joke that like Pentecostal weddings are short and Baptist weddings, or I'm sorry, other way around. That Baptist weddings are short, Pentecostal weddings are long. But gosh darn it, it was long. My brother, maybe because I'm in the wedding, so it just feels longer. But yeah, trying to wrangle children in a tux, trying not to jump in a river is always entertaining. Because we're doing wedding photos, and for whatever reason, we dragged along the ring bearers. I don't know why they had to be there, because they weren't in any of the photos. I don't know why my brother thought it was a good idea. I guess maybe to have them hang out with some of the guys. I think that's what my brother's intention was, but I don't think it turned out that way. Yeah, I feel like I should have gotten paid to be in the wedding. But it's not how that works. Unfortunately.
I got paid $60 to press the space bar once.
At a wedding?
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about like your honeymoon. I got paid. Like your honeymoon fee.
My honeymoon fee.
Oh, I did get locked out of my hotel at my brother's wedding. My brother, love my brother. He's like, yeah, you guys are staying at a Super 8 motel. Which, great. But I forgot what time checkout was the next day. So I couldn't get in my hotel room. And all my stuff was in there. Yeah, like all my, like, some of my work clothes, my work boots, all that junk was still in there. That was great. So I had to go explain everything I had, and I like remember everything. I think my car keys were in there too, which was great. 'Cause I was leaving that morning. Yeah, Yeah, always try to remember what time you're leaving your hotel, and for whatever reason, the key cards are they're weird magnetic ones. Like, yeah, don't put it in your phone. Of course, the first thing I do is try shoving it in my pocket with my phone, with my newer phone that has like the magnet on the back, like like that disc. So they were like, "Oh, you can't do that. We got to give you another key." So,
See, I only had issues with a key card once. I do a lot of traveling, and yeah, usually mostly the issues stem from when I guess there's like a clerical error, and they say that you're staying only for so long when you're like, no, that's like 1 day longer, and then you find out later that's like blah. But like, there's only one time that somebody used that excuse and was like, oh yeah, you can't put it with your cell phone because your cell phone like erases the key card. I'm sitting there like, no, that doesn't sound right. I
exactly.
don't believe it. That's not how that works.
No.
And lo and behold, I put it in my wallet, and it ends up sometimes getting right next to the phone, and it doesn't really matter.
Yeah. If that's the case, then like putting it near like like the vending machine while you're at the hotel would erase it by that logic. I don't know. Yeah, weddings are fun. I told my siblings we're not doing any more weddings very soon. If you invite me to one, I'm telling you no. If it's for anyone, because I'm sick and tired of weddings. I used to like weddings, and now I think I hate them. Unfortunately, or fortunately, I don't know. Yeah, thankfully I didn't get tried. No one tried hooking me up with anyone. Thank goodness. Well, I say that Isaac tried to hook me up with people at Olive Garden, people he knew, but I don't like his friends, so
It was a non-starter.
yeah, I don't know. I don't think they go to church the way they were talking, but I don't know. Me trying to get hooked up with people will happen next week when my kids camp, when I can try to get hooked up with counselors, and it's mostly me ignoring it because I'm oblivious.
Like, Nate, we just want you to have legal sex. That's all.
Is that how that works?
I mean, I gotta believe that might be the motivation or something. I mean, otherwise, I don't know. Like,
I don't know.
I don't know.
Well, in my family's case, I think it's like wedding fever. Like, 2 are already married. All right, let's do the next 2.
Another one bites the dust. Hey!
My grandma was like, yeah, we can do we did one in June and July. We could do one in October and September or September, October. I told my grandma, I was like, we got too many birthdays on October. We're not doing that.
Ring by spring, Nathan. Ring by spring.
Yeah, that ain't happening. Unfortunately, I don't think that's happening.
Yeah, sorry for my absence there, gentlemen. I have had some phone calls and things.
Oh, I thought you were going to say blame the storm.
No, in the storm. I actually do have a serious prayer request, though, if you don't mind.
Okay.
Friend of mine who... Oh, actually, you remember him. You remember JJ?
Yeah.
I just got word that he's in the hospital. So,
okay.
He was a previous guest here on the podcast. Some of our listeners may remember, so be praying for him. He
Yes.
recently had a surgery, and apparently is running a high fever, and I think it may be an infection, possibly related to that surgery. So,
yeah, he's a very neat guy. So yes, we definitely will.
That's the
be
painter.
praying for him.
Yeah.
JJ, the pastor painter, is what his name.
I thought you said the jet plane.
Did you the jet plane?
What'd you call him? The painted pastor, I believe it was?
Yep.
Something like that.
I promise I don't have dyslexia of any sort. Did we want to talk about anything else? Because I can't think of any other stories. And
I think you were trying to talk earlier about wedding scenes and fictional stuff.
Oh yes.
So yeah.
My favorite probably wedding scene is from Wreck-It Ralph.
Oh,
because it has the backstory of the girl.
Yes, it's done to comedy.
In the wedding, the husband gets eaten. It's like, oh, she has the worst backstory.
Married for 0.3 seconds.
Yeah. But then in the wedding later, when she marries the Fix-It Felix, there's like everybody has a gun trained on the window.
Funny. Yeah, that's a good one.
That was a fun scene.
I like the one in Shrek. There's just a captive audience. With the gags, with the title cards. Signs. He's like, applause. I was like, that's funny.
Oh.
And of course, it's also riffing kind of on Princess Bride a little bit.
Yeah.
Because the Priest and that's doing a similar thing. Um, I kind of hate that trope in fiction. One, because you kind of see it from like a mile away, and they play a lot of the tropes where it's like one episode. I don't know. I think I like it better when it's a gag like that because it's gonna you just do make it short. You're not gonna drag it out. What was I watching? They had that. It was like I probably wasn't even me trying to watch it. It was probably my mom, and I was like, I hate this because it was like the whole thing. I can't think of what it was. It was probably like One Calls the Heart or something like that. I don't know. So my mom likes that stuff. I do not. But would like especially like if everyone knows why like Superman got married first because they're trying to do it in one of the shows that was going on at the same time. Like Superman and Superman both, someone decided, hey, let's do this in other media. So then the comics are like, oh, we have to come together because everyone's going to see it in one of the shows or like a newspaper strip. Which is why you marry characters in fiction. I don't know. I feel like sometimes you ruin those characters when you try doing that. I guess they want to get noticed.
Because you want to have some character development with the people.
Oh no, I'm fine with character development. I just when you like with Superman it worked, with Spider-Man it didn't because they only did it because Stan Lee was marrying them in the comic strip. So then they did it in the comics, and then no writer liked that. So they always tried getting rid of it. And now Mary Jane's Venom. So I guess that's where we're at in that type of storytelling. But you run out of every idea, so you do that.
They're wrong. Let the kid be happy.
Which kid? Spider-Man kid or me kid?
Peter.
Oh, he's not a kid. He's like 30-something in the comics.
Sure.
Depending on who's writing it. Sometimes he is a kid. Because of the movies.
Sometimes it goes back and reboots. Just can't let it be happy. You can't let it be with MJ, apparently. Goober.
No, she's with Paul.
Writers. Who's Paul?
Have you not heard it? Look it up. Everyone hates Paul.
Everyone hates Paul, or for good reason. Paul's a...
No, he's got a man bun.
You have a cousin, Paul.
That's right, and he's cooler than this fool.
Probably.
Paul...
Yeah, I think I can't even think of anything from fiction because again, just from like the obvious stuff we've already talked about, because it's like all one note.
It looks like one of the artists just decided to draw themselves into the comic or something.
It was probably Romita Jr.
It was like, I'm gonna marry MJ. Lol.
Is it very blocky?
What's blocky?
Yeah, it's probably Romita Jr.
No, apparently it's Paul Jeremiah Rabin.
Is that his
What's
real name?
Rabin?
Is that his name?
That's Paul Rabin's name. Paul Jeremiah, apparently.
Oh, okay. I
That's
thought that
the
was like
man
the
bun
character's name. I was like, there's no way this is his full name. Someone's definitely making a joke.
Well, the creators are Zeb and
Oh, Zeb Wells.
John.
John Romita Jr. Everyone's favorite Spider-Man duo.
Are they?
No.
I doubt.
No. I'm trying to think of any other fiction because again, it's all very one note, except for like the obvious ones.
It's either make fun or very tragic.
Yeah. Never in between. There's never like one after that where it's like interesting or like moves the story along. There's a Doctor Who episode about it, and in that one, it's just kind of. It's very sad, and I kind of hate that. Like, everyone likes that episode, but I don't. It's just kind of sad. I was also like, this poor actress has to wear this probably very uncomfortable wedding dress for a whole episode. There's never a scene where they let her get out of it. And it's very unfortunate for Catherine Tate.
Yeah, it's like Donna can handle it.
Yes. But I would find that very uncomfortable.
So what we were saying is when you finally get married, you're gonna have to make sure that they make you wear the dress. You'll be
No,
uncomfortable all
no,
day.
no. I would not wear the dress. I don't have legs for the dress. My legs are too hairy. That's a sentence I've said now. That's on the internet somewhere.
Well, soon anyway.
Yeah, soon. When will soon be now? Then. Do we want to talk about anything else before I say more stupid stuff?
I think that's pretty good. About an hour, yeah.
Oh, thank goodness. Because I was like,
we can give you more rope to hang yourself here.
I could. Yeah, let's go. Let's go. If you
Good
enjoy,
podcast. It's about an hour long.
yeah, if you enjoyed content like this, you can give me more rope to hang myself with. You can follow us at Pizza Party Pod on social media. This has been episode 44 or 43. We already know I can't count apparently, so I got dyslexia and whatever the other one is where you can't read numbers. Because that is something like apparently there is a difference between the two. I found out recently. Strange, where can I find you?
Well, right now I've been on a little bit of a hiatus with a lot of things going on as far as my voiceover stuff, but my schedule's opening back up soon where I can start doing some auditions. I want to get back on TikTok and YouTube and do some things. So you can check me out there. YouTube is Will Becker VO. TikTok is just Will Becker. And you can also check out my book that I will hopefully be doing an audio recording of soon. But the book in text form is on Kindle, Amazon Kindle. And it's called The Tale of Arita by Will Becker. And you can check that out. It's like $3. Get it before I revise it, because that's another thing I eventually hope to do.
It becomes a collector's item at that point before it gets revised.
But it is digital only. I don't have physical copies of it. So
You take screenshots.
yeah.
Throw it on a floppy disk or a Google Drive. What if they do now?
Did you even know what a floppy disk is, Nate?
Yes, I know what a floppy disk is. Fine, a CD-ROM, is that better? Or is that worse? Probably worse. You could follow me at FT_Fescudius. What did I try recently? Trying to think. Because I've been doing, because I'll be gone next week, so I didn't try and do a backlog of stuff. Taco Bell had some new chicken strips and some stuff like that they just randomly dropped out of the blue without any warning. So that came out. And then also I made a whole video. It was supposed to be one video about something for the summer, all about. I just ranked all the Bang energy flavors because that was very not gonna happen, and then ended up being a video because I couldn't make a full video of something else. So that came out. Silly, where can they find you?
YouTube, SillyBoy1202, TikTok, SillyBoy1202.
Yeah, he looks like the garlic bread gremlin, if you know who that is. On one of your recent TikToks.
Sometimes.
It's just that filter he used was the one you were using, and it threw me off.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like he's the reason. I'm just sitting there like, how do you use that filter? That's pretty much it.
Doc, where do they find you?
On the TikToks, RS Dawkins 84. Yep, that's it. I mean, I'm on the other stuff, but.
And Crad, what CW show are you reviewing this week? Oh, you're muted.
Artie Har. I think I'm going to talk about this.
Gilmore Girls.
This guy who goes to weddings and is perpetually single, and people keep asking me. Oh, never mind.
Oh, that is a show. I think that is a movie.
Not just
So, like Dave, the 40-year-old version.
Oh
wow, I'm not 40.
Wah, wah, wah.
Not yet. Someone said I looked like I was 30 the other day. I was like, thanks.
Oh,
This is a kid in kids church too, so it's like,
J-Ted.
yeah.
He has no basis.
He was also wishing me Happy Father's Day as well. I was like, I don't have any kids. What are you talking about? He's like, oh, okay. He just walked off. I was like, thanks.
Well, next day you should be like, do you adopt me as your father? He'll be like, no.
He probably would. He probably don't want to be around his sisters, knowing him. yeah, so if you enjoyed content like this, again, go follow some Pizza Party Pod. The next episode probably a little bit more focused. It's a little off because we're all here. I don't think we've all been here at once.
Why is it that far
We
off?
don't know what to do with ourselves.
There we go. So hope you guys enjoyed this episode. You guys have a good rest of your night.